I remind those who missed a quiz or an exam, you have to come on Thursday here at 6:15, and you will sit for your makeup. So we are doing Spinoza, and last time we have seen the critique of Descartes as addressed by Spinoza. Now you have to be able to shift gears. You have to be able to say, okay, this is what Spinoza is saying, this is what Descartes is saying, even if they use the same words. Don't tell me, yeah, but God is perfect, while Spinoza said God is the actual reality. So each one is saying something, and you have to be able to shift gears, not to just get confused with the words. So, last time we have seen that there is a problem if you want to know God by using signs. Who uses signs to know God? You know these stories. It's not that Spinoza is delirious. Huh? Yeah. Religious people, including the prophets, not only the believers. If you take Moses, he doesn't see the face of God. What does he see? He sees a burning bush. Meaning he doesn't see like God, he sees a sign. Same thing goes for, if you read the Quran, it's loaded with signs. Actually, an ayah means a sign, practically. Is that if you really look around you, you see the signs of God. You don't see God, you see signs, and if you think, in the Quran, if you think and reflect, you will see that there's something divine behind the signs. So you see, prophets, religions usually operate by signs in order for you to access God. You never access God directly. But here there's a question. How do you know that these signs are not the signs of the devil? You know Moses, when he throws his stick and it turns into a snake. The Egyptian pharaoh used to think that this is a devil, this is a sorcerer, and he's not sent by God. So, signs are equivocal. Signs are equivocal, meaning I give you a sign, maybe it's a sign of something else. Okay, I hope this idea is clear. It's not that complicated. Sign is like signature. If I sign a check, maybe it's not my signature. If I show you a check with my signature in code or the signature of someone you know, maybe someone else did the signature, or actually it's someone else's signature. So you never know really if this sign refers to that person. How can we know that the signs that are talked about in the holy books are really the signs of God? It's a problem. If you are a philosopher, i.e. a little bit more complicated kind of character, the only sign of God is which sign? Meaning, if you are Descartes, what is the sign of God? Is it the trees, the birds, the sexuated animals, the miracles? What is the sign of God? The idea of perfection. If you are a philosopher, okay, Descartes, he's still in a religious kind of atmosphere. He says, you know what? Rational beings, they believe that the sign of God, the signs that we can really prove rationally, is the idea of perfection. This is really like the sign of science. And as you remember, this sign in you makes you live, think, doubt, perfect your life, and do good actions, etc. Without that idea, you would be reduced to animality. All the thriving to do something better, whatever you think is this better, is related to this sign of God in you. Great. Spinoza asked Descartes, how do you know that this is the sign of God? What is the condition for this to be the sign of God? There's one condition. Huh?
If only it corresponds.
It should be exclusive to God. Okay, the God says, okay, fine, it's exclusive to God. Why not? I agree, it's exclusive to God. Of course, I'm the one who said it. But if it's exclusive to God, what follows immediately? Can it be attributed to something else? No, it's pure logical deduction. Can matter be perfect or thought be perfect? Absolutely not. Which is a problem. Why it's a problem? And here we are moving into language, into conceptual, not language like language, into the definition of things. Why it's a problem? Because if you say thought is a substance, it has to be perfect. Why it has to be perfect? Because in the whole tradition, a substance is perfect, but why? Because nothing can limit it, it cannot be corrupted. Hence, if it's of a certain type, well, it is perfect in its kind, as we say. Thought might not be God, but at least thought must be perfect as thought. But if you say perfection is only to God, it follows that thought is not perfect. If it's not perfect, it can be a substance. I hope this is clear. He's just arguing on the technical language. He's telling him, don't call it substance, call it something else. Call it mode, call it attribute, call it whatever you want, but you can't call it substance and imperfect in the same time. Same applies to matter. I hope this is clear. This is the first argument. Second argument, the guy says, okay, so let's say they're all perfect now. If it's not exclusive, you say thought and matter and God are perfect, what happens to your sign? Can it still refer to God? No. Can it refer to matter? Can it refer to thought? Yeah, so you have a problem now. So if it's exclusive, you have a problem. If it's inclusive, you have a problem. So there's a problem when you say sign and three substances. I hope this is clear now. Problem 2. This is the problem with the sign when it comes to perfection. Problem 2 is the problem of the unity of perfections. Just revising what we did last time. Descartes, does he believe that God is one and has all the perfections and is unifying this perfection in his being? Yes. Why? Why God should have all the perfections and the unity of perfections?
Because if he's missing a perfection, then he's not perfect.
Great. And why does he have to unify the perfection? He could have 99 without having their unities.
We cannot unify them.
Huh? We cannot unify this for sure, but why he should have the unity of perfection before going into we or them? Yeah, but why?
Not limited.
No.
Because to unify the perfections needs to be perfect.
No. It's the reverse.
The collection of perfection is more perfect than...
No. This is the reason why God wins over the many gods. So why God should have the unity of perfection? The unity of perfection. Because the unity of perfection is a perfection. Okay? So be careful, you have it. If you say he has all the perfections, he has to have all the perfection, meaning all of them and unified. Because you could have all the perfection distributed on many gods. Or you could have many perfections but which are not unified. So we know that the unity of perfections is a condition of perfection. Your friend gave another version which is very close, which is if you are missing a perfection, you're not perfect. There you go. So you have to have the unity of perfection, meaning all of them and you are one. Both. Not all of them and you are many. All of them and you are one. So to have the unity of perfection is itself a condition to be perfect. It's itself actually a perfection. This is why he wins over the other possible scenario, which is let's have polytheism. Jupiter, Aphrodite, Ares, Poseidon, where each one has a perfection. But if each one has a perfection, none of them has the unity of perfection. They are less perfect. They can't produce the idea of perfection. Hence, it's true that it's God who has them all and unified, which has produced this idea of perfection, because we know that it is one and many in the same time. Okay, see, the concept of perfection, what does it tell us? It can tell us it has to have all perfection and unified. But here's a problem, because the concept of perfection, what does it also tell us? That perfections are real. Or else they're not perfection. If you say, I am in my imagination really smart, you're not smart. It's very simple. So, the perfections are real. So if you have all the perfections, do you have many realities? Yeah. And if you are made of many realities, are you one in any way? No. So, to be one is to be one reality. So how can you be a reality of realities? It's a contradiction. See, if perfections are substances, meaning they are independent, so how can they be one while being independent? Okay? So here you have a very serious problem, because the concept of perfection forces us to think that he must have the unity of perfection, but also the concept of perfection as thought by Descartes, which is perfections are real substantialities, each one on its own, force us to think what? That God is not one. So he's divided inside. And this is a contradiction when it comes to the conception of perfections as realities. Is this clear? Okay? Now, so this is for the first kind of tier of critiques. First critique, the critique of perfections. Second critique, the critique of the notion of substance. The critique of the notion of substance goes as follows. First, what is a substance? By now you should know it by heart, really. What is it? A being. You see, we are really high in the hierarchy. It's a being. It's something which is independent in its presence, essence, meaning it's being here and the way we understand. See, to be a substance, remember Descartes, even we are in Spinoza, you should have direct access to it in the way you know it, so you can't know something before knowing it. And it must be there without the need of anything else for it to be there. Is this clear? Okay? Substance, independent. This is why Aristotle, as we will see, mistakenly thought that Socrates is a substance, because he seems to be standing on his own. He's not dependent, and we can know him, so he's a substance. Oh, mistakenly, as we will see. What is a mode? Mode is a being which is actually dependent to be known. You need to know something before knowing it, and it's dependent when it comes to be here. So let's see if you're there. Color, is it a mode or a substance? Huh? Mode or substance? Mode. Why is it a mode?
Because we can't say white without a word.
Great. It needs a support. Actually, you can't say white without paint. You can't say white without wall. You can't say white without Socrates. So white depends on these things that Aristotle is to believe are substances, meaning walls, horses, humans, in order for white to be here. There's something more. Can you understand white without understanding something before understanding white? Can you understand white? What is white? If you don't understand extension before understanding white? No, why not? Can you conceive white? What is whiteness? If you have absolutely no notion of what is extension? Why not? Why yes? Yeah.
Because extension is its attribute.
Huh?
Extension is one's attribute.
No, not yet. You have to give me a simple explanation. Why I can't really understand what is white if I have absolutely no idea of what is extension. Let's do it differently. Can you understand what is a wavelength without having any idea of what is extension? No. What is a wavelength?
Something
Something that's what? It's the speed of, the speed of light in a certain extension. Can you understand this kind of curvature, speed of light in an extension without having any idea of what extension is? No. Nothing. No. So let's do it differently. It has
What do you mean by extension?
occupying a space. Extension. To occupy a space. Can you have any notion of color, speed, I don't know, density? If you have no notion of what extension is, meaning space, can you have a notion of density, which is the ratio of mass over volume, if you have zero idea of what space is? You shouldn't look at me like that. It should be really like trivial. You should be bored on the other side. Like we know that. Come on, say something interesting. No? You know volume. Okay, volume, 3D, height, length, width. This is volume. And mass is weight, which is actually the attraction towards the Earth. So it's a kind of acceleration. When you put speed and volume, you have something called density. Can you have density without understanding volume?
Yes.
How?
Because it's there, it doesn't mean that I have to understand it to be
Yeah, it's there. What do you mean?
It exists.
Yeah, what do you mean it exists?
It applies by physical laws.
Yeah, physical laws. Man. This is what I'm talking about, It's proven by physical law. What does the physical law say?
Then if you combine this and this, you get density.
Yeah, if you combine attraction and volume, you get density. So can you understand density without understanding volume? No. And can you understand volume without understanding space? No. So does density depend for you to understand it on space?
Yeah.
So does density depend on extension? Yes, thank you. So speed is covering a distance in time. Can you understand speed without understanding distance? No. Okay? Color, what is color? Color is a wavelength, if you want to take it scientifically, or it's this shade occupying what? A space. Color is, can you see color if it doesn't occupy a space? To make it psychologically now, psychology of perception. Can you say, it's blue, well actually it's occupying zero space? No. Okay, so colors, wavelengths, speeds, densities, movement, all kinds of things, for you to just understand what they are, you need to include in their definition something spatial. We call it, in philosophy, extension. We just call it extension. That's all. So we've said that to understand a mode, should you understand first extension? Yeah, be it a color or whatever, you need to understand something there occupying a space. So this is the difference between mode and substance. Is this difference clear now? We usually say that you have the extended substance, and in this extension you have all kinds of things. You have colors, speeds, densities, volumes, wavelengths, etc., which all depend on the extension. Hence, they're not substances, they are modalities of extension. They are ways of being extended. Okay? A wavelength is a way of being to occupy a volume. So, if you compare two substances, let's suppose you compare the thinking substance to the extended substance. What makes them different from one another in slang English and normal English? What makes the thinking substance different from the extending substance? The extending substance is? So what if it cannot think, but what is it doing? The extending substance is extending thinking. And the thinking substance is thinking. Is thinking extending? No. You see, even your thought of space, does it occupy a space? Your thought of space? No. Your thought of a horse, does it occupy a space? No. So you see, thoughts are not extended. They're not extended, while extension obviously is extended. Now, what does it mean? What did Descartes say about thought and extension? What makes them different, if you want now to put it in a bit more sophisticated language? Huh? These are attributes, yeah, but what makes these attributes different from another? Almost the inverse of one another. Thought is, how do you define thought, Descartes? Yeah, substance, but how do you characterize the substance? Thought is what? No. No. Huh? Essence? Yeah, but no. So thought is appearing is equal to being. This is why it's unextended. Okay? Shane, what appears to you is the case. Can you dig through thought? You can't. I explain. If you feel in love, are you in love? And that's it. As a thought. If you feel in love, are you in love? As a thought. No. When you feel in love, you don't feel in love as a thought. Is the feeling of love a thought? Is it a volume, the feeling of love? You know, I love him a lot. Is it a volume? No. The feeling of thought, the feeling of love is a thought. It's inextended. It's a pure appearing. It's a manifestation to you. And if your friends tell you, yeah, but he's not nice, he's awful, etc., do you really care when you have that feeling in you? No. So you see, if they tell you, yeah, but he's not what you think, do you still think it none of the less? Yeah. This is what you call appearing as being. So let's take it. If you feel cold, are you cold? Yeah. If they tell you, yeah, but physically it's not cold today, do you really care? No. So this is what we say, appearing equals being. I hope by now this is clear. Extension, on the other hand, when something appears, can you dig behind the appearance? Like when you are walking in the desert and you see water, can you go and check if there's water or not? Yes, this is what you call extension. You're really able to go behind the image and see if it is really the case that this image is what it seems to be. When you're in love, you're in love. When you feel cold, and that's it. You can't then say, well, no, you know, there's something behind my image, my feeling of love or of coldness. Yeah. Okay? So you see, what you call matter is really like a set of manifestations where you can always go behind the manifestation. This is why it's extended. You can dig through. We used to believe that this is only that, and then we discovered that it's made of fibers, and then we discovered that it's made of atoms, and then we discovered that the atoms are made of quarks, and then we discovered that you have vibrating ligaments, and today it's energy. So you can go down and down and down in this kind of series of appearance, and you go down in extension. Thought is not like that. You feel afraid, you are afraid. You're done. So, when you compare substance 1 to substance 2, how do you differentiate them? By now I hope it's clear. What's the difference between thinking substance and extending substance?
Extension.
Huh?
Extension.
What's the difference between them? How can you differentiate them? Yeah, one is extending, the other one is thinking. Okay, so here we say that. How do you distinguish them? We distinguish them by the attribute, meaning by what seems to be really like making them what they are. The attribute is what enunciates the essence of something. Yeah.
Thinking is the attribute of thought.
Yeah. The act of thinking seems to be the essential thing that the thinking substance is doing. So it seems to be that it is thought itself. The thinking is different from the extending. So when you compare a substance to another, you have a kind of perspective where it seems that one substance is extending and the other substance is intending. One is going outwards, the other one is going inwards. And of course, this is why they're not the same. But let's now compare a substance to one of its modes, like the extended substance to something extended. I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you have matter and something material, to make it simple. Okay? In that case, do you distinguish between matter and its extension? Do you say that matter is extending or that the extending is extending? If you compare the wax to the volume it occupies, is the wax itself the volume it occupies? No. You feel that now there's a difference between something called wax, meaning matter, and what matter occupies in terms of space. And there seems to be a difference between extension and the extending substance. While when you compare extending substance to thinking substance, it seems to be that the substance is itself the extending and the thinking is itself the thinking. But when you compare the extended substance to the extension, it seems that there's a difference between the two. Now, why is this a problem? Because simply put, conceptually speaking, in the first case we are saying the substance is itself the attribute, the extending substance is to extend, while in the second case we're saying that there's something substantial like wax or matter which is different from the extension. I hope this is clear. Wax occupies a space, it's different from the extending substance is not the thinking substance. I hope this difference is clear. So either you say that extension is itself the substance, or you say that the attribute is not itself the substance, but you can't say both at the same time, which Descartes does many times. I hope this is clear. It's clear for everyone. So the last one. If you compare now the mode to the substance, instead of comparing the substance to the mode. If you compare the mode to the substance, what is the attribute, meaning the essence of this table? That without which this table cannot be the stable. Its wood. Its wood distributed in this fashion, meaning its matter and its extension, makes the substance of this table. Is this clear? To be this table, what do you need to be? You need to have these pieces of wood and distributed in this way in space. So what is your essence? Your essence is to have an extension of matter. Okay? But what is the essence of matter itself? Is to be material and extended. So do they share now the same essence, these two, the table and matter, when you describe them? You say, what is matter? You tell me it's a matter which occupies a space. And if I tell you what is a material table, you tell me it's matter that occupies a space. Right. Do they share now the same definition? Yeah. It's sweet, but this is a mode, the other one is a substance. They're not supposed to share the same definition. Yeah? So these are the problems in the Cartesian system. I hope this is clear. Is it clear? Yeah?
Second one, how can comparing substance to a mode be different than comparing mode to substance?
Yeah, it's an order of thought. When you think of matter, do you think that it occupies a space? Yeah, so you have this difference between matter now and the occupation of space. This is something. So now in the first case, you're thinking of substance first. You're thinking of substance. Your object of thought, you're focused on substance. Second case, the third one. Third one, you focus on mode, not on substance. You say, okay, what makes this thing this thing? You say, what makes it this thing is to be material and to occupy a space. But in that case, you're giving it the same definition as substance, so you have a problem. Is it clear? Your focal point is different. And number two, you are focusing on substance first and how it occupies space. In the second case, you're focusing on a mode and you're trying to know what it is. Okay? So these are the problems in the Cartesian system. I hope this is clear. So now we can begin Spinoza. Spinoza is on the left, here. So Spinoza begins like that. Of course, Spinoza, I hope you read or you're beginning to read the book. It's really 2 pages per reading. So if you read the beginning of the Ethics, he begins with the 3 definitions, which are substance, mode, attribute. Substance is a being that exists independently. Mode is a being that is dependent on substance to be known and to exist. And attribute is the way we conceive what constitutes the essence of a substance. Are these clear? So let's see, what is the attribute of man? Rationality, is it enough? Thinking is rationality. And animality. If you're not alive and thinking, are you a human being? For philosophers in general, no. Okay? What is the essence of a cat? You give your definition. What is the essence of a cube? 6 faces, etc. If you don't have one of these, you're not a cube. So, are the fingers part of the essence of man? If I cut my fingers, am I still a man? Yeah. If I shave my hair, am I still a man? So you see, you really need to lose your life or intelligence to stop being a man. This is your essence. That without which you cannot be who you are or what you are. Please remember that. So when I think of the essence of man, is the essence of man in my head or in the man? Is it in my head, the essence of man, or in the man? Is animality and rationality in the human being or in me, meaning in my thought? In the human being. So let's think of the essence of a cat. Let's say it's a fluffy, jumpy animal. Okay, fine. So when you define the essence of a cat like that, fluffy and jumpy, are they in it or in your head? In it. You understand what makes it what it is. Okay, so the essence is in it. Even if so far we're using essence presence as if essence is in your head. Because you understand what's in it. Okay? So you can thank Spinoza to only define 3 terms, which are the most basic terms, like subject, adjective, and that's it. Or what he's saying is the table is blue, table is substance, blue is mode, and that's it. It can't be more basic. I never understood why people think that philosophers are complicated, because it's really basic. Like he's saying, you say it every day, the tree is green, substance mode. All I'm telling you is that let's put them on a piece of paper, substance mode, and really think about that to see how the universe is made. Okay? Now, the first question, after Spinoza gave his definitions, the first question he asked is, written here on the board, are there many substances of the same attribute? Who feels dizzy now? Who can translate that in normal English? Anyone would like to translate that in normal English? Not in philosophical English? Yeah. Attributes is the way you understand what constitutes the essence of something. Is this clear for everyone? No, this is Descartes. Now, shut the door on Descartes a little bit. We're done with the critique of Descartes, and with Descartes, we moved into Spinoza. You can forget Descartes for a while, until your quiz. So, who would like to translate this sentence in normal English? Translation is a very easy exercise. Yeah.
Can we find a common attribute between the 3 substances?
We didn't translate it normal English. We didn't get better in terms of English, like, what do you mean?
Because I mean a common attribute
It's already too far. Just translate. It's written on the board with a line under it. So, who would like to translate that? How do you translate R in normal English? R. How do you translate that? With R. Thank you. There. How do you translate there? There. Many. How do you translate many? Many. So far we're good. You understand? Are there many?
Yes.
Substances. How do you translate substances? Huh? It's not being, no. I've been defining it for the whole hour.
Something independent.
Independent. This is its definition. What do we mean by substance? If you really want to say it normally in English.
Objects.
No?
Everything.
No? When you are independent, you're independent. Are you a reality?
Yes.
Reality. This is reality. Is it clear? So are there many realities? Many realities. If you want to translate it even more in slang English, are there many real things? Is it now clear? Are there many real things of the same attribute? How do you understand attribute in normal English?
How we understand it.
Huh?
How we understand it.
Yeah, it's already too complicated for a normal English. Are there many real things of the same? Definitions too philosophical of the same
Meaning.
meaning. It's not in meaning of the same. When you have many humans, do you say that they are of the same what? Species of the same type, kind, species. Okay. So are there many things, many real things of the same type? Who can now give me a slang example? Like an example which everyone can understand. Everyone.
So المفروض translation شو
Okay. Statistics. Are there many real things of the same type? Of the same kind? What kinds do you know of?
are there
Yeah.
Many things.
Blue, yeah. We'll go to
Toys.
many things as being blue, clothes, as humans, stuff like that. And to give it a more specific, tangible thing, are there many humans as realities? This is a possible example. You have many humans. Are they of the same types of humans?
Yes.
Yes, they're humans. So they have the same attribute. So are there many real humans? This is a possible example. Is this one clear? Can you ask yourself, I've seen today 10 people, but I don't know if they are real. You can ask that. Wait. Let's just translate this. I'll give you first the blunt translation. Do you believe that there are many real material things? What would be the kind of the real things in this case? Real material things. What is common among them? Material. Very simple. Do you believe that this is a reality and this is another reality? While they are one material thing and this is another material thing. It's clear what he's talking about? Can't be more basic. He's saying, look at this, look at that. Do you believe that both of these things are material? So do they belong to the material thing attribute? Yes. So can you say that they both matter and at the same time say there are two realities? Did you get at least the question? No? Do you think that this is a material plastic thing? Do you think that it's real? Yeah. Do you think that this is another plastic material thing? Is it real? So the question is, can you really say that there are two realities and at the same time say that they both are material? This is the question. Did you get it? Maybe for you this is not a question. Of course there are two material things and they are real. And of course you are mistaken. This is the good news. You're wrong. He's right. Why is he right? So, Really, can these be two realities, knowing that they share the same attribute, which is to be material? Is this sentence clear at least now?
Yes.
Before explaining to you why he's right, you're wrong. Okay? Is this clear? The question? Okay. So, first demonstration to explain why you are wrong and he's right. By the absurd.
He's right and who should?
Spinoza.
What did he say?
These belong to the same reality and they're not realities. We will see why. They're not realities. You can't call this a reality and this a reality if they share the same attribute, which is matter. We will see why. Maybe you can call them modality. He's arguing on that. Okay?
Why didn't we translated substances as realities? We said before that perfection means reality.
But substance means perfection means reality. Okay, and this is in Descartes. Now we move into Spinoza if you want to lighten it up. So now we are using substance as reality, and Descartes uses it also like that. Substance uses it as reality, and there's a problem on the perfection. But now the problem is not here. The problem, can you have many realities of the same attribute? Like many material things which are realities. So if you have two substances, meaning two realities, of the same attribute, can you distinguish them by the attribute? Let's suppose this is a reality and this is another reality, and we suppose that they belong or they share the same attribute, which is matter, to make it easy. Can you distinguish this reality from that reality by the attribute? No, why not? Because they have the same attribute. So how can you now distinguish these two realities? By what do you distinguish them? By? We said that they have the same attribute. By the modality. So to know the substance as different from the substance, what makes them different from one another? Their attributes or their modes? So how do you know the mode, the substance? By the mode or by the attribute? Mode. Hence, is the substance for it to be known now depending on the mode? Yes. Is this logically sound? To know the substance by the mode?
Usually it's
No,
no,
that's
why it's not.
More by the substance. Thank you. Let's do it again. What is the substance? What is the substance?
Something independent.
It's a being, independent. What is the mode? Dependent. Do you need to know the substance in order to know the mode, or you know the mode to know the substance? You know the substance to know the mode. You need to know extension to know color, wavelength, speed, etc. And not you know a mode and then you understand what is a substance. So if you say, I have two substances sharing the same attribute, obviously you can distinguish them by the attribute. So what is left to distinguish these two substances? I need to know them, to know the mode. But in this case, what is your access to the substance? The mode. Can it work? No. So you have to know the mode by the substance and not the substance by the mode. It doesn't work. So you see, you cannot know the substance by the mode. So if you have two substances of the same attribute, are they the same substance? If they share the same nature, shouldn't they be the same substance? Or let's put it differently. If you have two X, they have to be the same substance. So these two things, are they two realities or do they belong to the same reality? Belong to which reality? To the material reality. Did you get the problem? What he's saying is very simple. Saying when you look at these two things and you say they're material, what is their reality now? Is it the fact to be a cap and to be a pen, or what is in them real in this case? To be material. Can I melt this thing and melt that thing and make a little, I don't know, a cube of plastic? If I melt them, yeah. Do I still have the reality material? Yes. So, are these two things realities or modalities? Are they in matter or are they independently existing without anything else, this guy. Does it exist without matter or it needs matter to exist? It needs matter. So is it a modality or a reality? Is it a modality or a reality, meaning a substance? If it needs something to be modality. His argument is that, yeah, I know you say that this is real, but you shouldn't say that this is a substance, meaning a real. You have to say it's a modality of the real. It's a way of being of matter. It's not itself a reality. Okay? This is clear. And you know this very well. If you look at this classroom, can you imagine it as a Play-Doh where you have different figures coming out of the same substantial thing? You know your physics, you know your chemistry. Nothing is created, nothing is destroyed, everything transforms. Why? Because matter is a substance. You can't have more in it or less in it. It only transforms. It transforms into what? Into the different ways of being matter. You know this. You take a stone, can it become light? It's a stone in an atomic bomb. Uranium, is it light? Yeah, it transforms into light. So light and matter and all of these things are different ways of being of the extended substance. Really imagine a Play-Doh to make it easy on yourselves. A Play-Doh, you know, you make a little dinosaur, you make a little, I don't know, carbon atom, you make whatever you want out of this Play-Doh, and this is what you call the material substance. So I hope this is clear. By the absurd, meaning a conceptual demonstration, if you say that you have many substances sharing the same attribute, you can't distinguish them by the attribute, you have to distinguish them by the mode. You will end up knowing them by the mode, while actually you have to know the mode by the substance and not the substance by the mode. Ergo, you can't have two substances of the same attribute. It should be very clear. It's easier than 1 plus 1 equals 2 actually. It should be really like very clear. Okay? No? No?
It's not easy.
That's not easy. It's not easy. It's rich. Anyway. So, demonstration number 2. By the conception of division, can you cut matter? You see, to need many substances of the same attribute, some people think, yeah, it's easy, I cut. You know, I bring a saw or a cutter, and I cut this pen in half, and what do I end up having? Two halves, two realities. Do they belong to the same attribute? Yeah. So, but can you really cut the reality? Should the cutter be the same as the being cut? When you cut something, can you cut it with itself? Even when you fold the paper, are you cutting this piece with itself? It's very simple. You have a knife. Can the knife cut itself? No. Can the knife cut the table? Can the table cut itself? No. Tell me, yeah, but if I break the table like that, is it the table cutting the table? No, it's me breaking the table. It's clear? So the cutter should be different from what? The cutter should be different from the cutted. Is this clear? If you want to cut matter, the cutter must be different from what is being cut. But should the cutter and the cutted belong to the same attribute? Can you cut the table with the idea of a knife? No, why not?
Because it's not existent.
Huh?
It's not physical.
Yeah, so if you want to cut the table, shouldn't you have another material thing to cut the table? Yeah. So, the cutter and the cutter must be different, so, two different realities, we suppose, and yet they should have the same attribute. Is this clear? To be able to cut something, you have to be different from the thing, but you have to share with it what? The same nature, the same nature. But can you have two realities which are different and they share the same attribute? No, so you can't cut matter. So actually when you are cutting the table, are you really cutting matter? Is the knife in your hand matter?
Yes.
Yeah. Is the table also matter? So while introducing the knife in the table, are you destroying matter or the table? The table. So actually you're just modifying matter and you're not destroying matter. This is clear. Can be more simple. So yeah, the knife is material. When you stab the table with the knife, actually this together is still matter. It's not that you destroyed matter. Actually you changed the way matter is distributed and you didn't destroy matter itself.
So you're talking about the divisions.
Huh?
You're talking about the divisions.
Yeah, divisions in matter. You have to really be careful just on that point. It's only one point. When I break the table, I'm not breaking matter, I'm changing the distribution of matter in space. That's all. I'm not really like making a hole in matter itself. Did you get the difference? Can you make a hole in matter? Just try to imagine, like, you break, I don't know what. You can destroy tables, wood, steel, plastic, human beings, but you're not destroying matter as such. You are destroying the way matter is distributed, meaning modalities and not substantiality. I hope this is clear. What is the demonstration? To cut something, to divide, the cutter must be different from what is being cut, but they have to share the same attribute, meaning they have to belong to the same nature. But if they belong to the same nature, they can be two different realities, and hence a reality cannot be limited by another reality. Is matter infinite? Should we send a spaceship to the confines of the universe to see if matter stops somewhere? It will cost us a lot of money. Should we do that project? Let's go look for the boundary of the universe. They used to do it as in medieval times, because they used to think that the world is scattered at ends somewhere. Should we do that today? Why not? Can matter be limited by anything? Like the boundary of the universe. Why not?
Because we said that in order to break matter or cut it, you need matter.
In order to limit the universe,
You need
what would you need?
something else,
Something else.
which is matter.
But this something else, should it also be material to limit the universe? But in that case, isn't it extending the universe?
So it doesn't
Yeah. So can you really find the limit for the universe, the material universe? No. So each time you think of a boundary, the boundary isn't material to be able to limit matter. Let's say you build a wall around the universe to limit it. The wall itself, to limit the universe, shouldn't it be material, the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's material, isn't it part of the universe?
Yes.
Yes. So you can't really limit the universe. Is it clear? Okay? You have to imagine that this is your universe. If you want to limit it, we said that the limiter should be of the same kind of the limited, but they have to be different. If they are different but of the same kind, they become the same. Yeah.
You're saying that the third substance, which is God, cannot.
Forget these three. I'm focusing on this problem. You have something called the material substance. Before going into that, I'll get back to it later. But for today, I want you to understand this very simple thing. If you are a reality, which is, let's say, the material reality, matter, can you really limit it? Why not?
Because we need matter and matter extends.
Not because matter extends it, no. Because to limit matter, should you limit it with something also material? Can you limit matter with thought?
No.
Can you limit matter with thought? No. Actually, things can limit each other when they are of the same kind. So thought can limit another thought. You think of a cheesecake and then of a pizza. Thoughts can limit thoughts. And material things can limit material things. Now we want to know when a material thing limits another material thing, if these two now we can call them two realities or the same reality. Why is the same reality? What is their reality now, these two things? It's not. Really, like, imagine yourself throwing water in water. You want to limit water with water, you add water, you are still in water, so you're not really limiting matter with matter. Actually, this is matter. So you can't limit a substance, meaning all substances, i.e. all realities are infinite and indivisible. Can you destroy even an iota of matter? Even like 1 millimeter of matter, can you destroy it? Why not? Huh? You can modify matter, but can you really annihilate matter at one point? No, why not? What do you need in order to annihilate matter at one point? You need another matter, so they are both matter. You can't really annihilate matter in any point. This is clear. Yeah, no. Imagine building a wall around the universe. Is it material, this wall? Yes, so it's part of the universe. It's an illusion of thought. You have to get used to it because we live in such a thing. Okay, so let's do the third one. Third one. By the definition of number. The question is this. So all of these demonstrations, they pertain to the same thing. But it's different versions of the same definition. You can cut matter because they have to share the same attribute. If they share the same attribute, they are the same matter, meaning they are the same substance. By the absurd, and now by number. So the question goes like that. If you have many apples, can you know immediately that these apples are not real? Meaning they are not substances, they are modes. They are not realities, they are modalities. We are arguing on that only. I'm not telling you that this noun doesn't exist. I'm just telling you it's not a substance. Okay, I hope this is clear. I'm not telling you this thing I'm holding in my hand, I'm not holding it in my hand. I'm just telling you that this thing is not a substance, it's a mode of substance. It's not itself matter, it's a way of being of matter. Okay? So let's say you have 10 apples. 10 apples. Are they substances or modalities? I'll give you the demonstration because you'll never guess it on your own. So the demonstration goes as follows. What is the definition of an apple? Can you give me the definition of an apple? A fruit. Great. So here by the definition of the apple, which is fruit sweet. Can you deduce the number of the apples from the definition of the apple? No. Is there anything in the definition of the apple that is going to tell you how many apples there are in the world? No. So is the essence of the apple that leads to the number of the apple? No. What is the essence of something? It's its definition. Its definition. So what explains the number of the apples in the world? Is it its essence or something else?
Something else.
Something else, like what? The apples. How can you explain why you have 20,000 apples in the world today? Yeah, but why are there 20,000? What makes the number 20,000? You counted them, so how you know that there are 20,000, and not the fact that there are 20,000. What explains the number of the apples? Huh? Yeah, but for the apples. Huh? No one knows why you have 20,000 apples. What produces apples? They grow from where? From trees. Thank you. So trees explains the number of the apples. Apple trees. So what is the cause of the apple? Trees. Thank you. Why you have 20,000? You say, yeah, we had a good season. The weather, the trees, the demand. All of these causes explain why you have 20,000 apples. But in this case, is the apple a substance? If it's not itself self-caused, is it a substance? What explains the existence of the apple? The tree. So So if the tree is the cause of the apple and not the definition of the apple, meaning the being of the apple is its own cause, it follows that the apple is not its own cause. And if it's not its own cause, is it a substance? What is a substance? Independent in its existence. It doesn't mean anything to exist. And independent in what? In the way it's known. So the apple, is it independent in its existence? Does it explain how many, why it should be here, now, etc.? The apple? No. What explains that? Something else. The tree, the people, the weather. So if it's like that, can you be a substance? No. So you argue a reality. You have 20 humans. Are they realities? Yeah. Yes. Is the tree a substance? No. Is the weather a substance? All of these are modes. The trees. Yeah. What is the substance of all of these things? Matter. Matter is the only substance in which you have trees, the weather, people, and all of these things. And all of these things are dependent on matter to be, but matter itself is not dependent on them to be. Okay? Did you get that problem with the apple? Yeah.
Matter is dependent on something else.
No, beside matter. Any material thing is dependent on another material thing.
So any matter is dependent on something else, and matter in general is dependent
No,
on
we'll demonstrate that no.
Oh, it's good.
Any material thing indeed depends on another material thing, but all of them depend on matter, and matter doesn't depend on it.
يعني matter له definition تاني إنه غير عن
Matter is not the material thing. So I hope by now you get it. So I repeat. Now we are studying this situation. There's a difference between what you call a modality and the substance. Okay? An apple, how do you know that it's a modality and not a substantiality? Because its definition doesn't explain its presence. So this is why it's not a substance.
And we can say that of the tree also.
The tree also, and the human beings, and the weather, and Beirut, Lebanon, and the earth. Yeah. But the extended substance, you can't say this about it. I will see why so. Okay, the universe, as a material universe, doesn't depend on anything, but everything in the material universe depends on it. Okay? So, I didn't say that now the tree is the substance. The tree is as model as the apple. So the first definition is that if you have the definition of something, and you can deduce the existence of that thing out of its definition, this thing cannot be a substance. Is this clear? This is clear for everyone. If you cannot deduce and prove that you can exist out of your own definition, you cannot be a substance. Why? What would be then your cause of existence? Yourself or something else? You see, if your essence doesn't imply your existence, can you still be a substance? Your essence meaning what makes you who you are, your definition. If it's not you what makes you who you are that implies your existence, can you still be a substance? What would explain your existence then? Is it your essence or something else? Something else. If it's something else explaining your existence or giving you existence, are you still a substance? No. So everything which is born, is it a substance? No. So you're all not reality. It's a very good news. Huh? Actually, we know that because you're going to disappear sooner or later. And you are modalities. You are ways of being of matter and thought. You're not reality. Actually, you are a distribution of matter in space, and you are a way of thinking. You're not thought or matter themselves. So you are modalities and not realities. Let's take the other one by definition. Other one by definition. Can you count, please keep it quiet, can you count things? Let's suppose here you have things. Can you count things if they don't have a common attribute? Can you count if you don't have the same definition when it comes to what is being counted? Make it simple. Can you count oranges and apples? Anyone can try? Can you count orange and apple and banana?
Yes.
Unless you're counting your blood and you're counting fruits.
Fruits, yeah. So you have to put them under the same attribute to be able to count them. This is clear. Okay? So if can you count one apple, one banana, one orange and say there are three? You can't. You can say 3 apple, orange, banana. But you can say 3 fruits. Or you can say 3 apples. So to count, the concept of counting, you have an attribute that subsumes the counted. This is very basic. What can we count? We only can count what has a common attribute. So I can only count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 under one condition, is that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they belong to what? To the same attribute. So they have the same essence. They have, please keep it quiet, they have the same attribute. So in this case, can the counted be accounted of many realities? So I repeat the question. It should be easy by now, or at least I hope. If you count, you need to have a common attribute when it comes to the counted. Is this sentence clear? Can the counted hence be accounted of realities? Meaning, can these be different things that are all realities sharing the same attribute? Well, why not? Who is not understanding? No, you can go. Someone can ask questions. I can repeat for it. So, yeah.
Say that they have the same attributes?
Yeah. If these many things you're counting, to be able to count them, should they have the same attribute? Yeah. But if they have the same attributes, these many things, can they be realities having the same attribute? No. Yeah. So can they have the same attributes, different realities? No. Why not? By which demonstration? We have them here. By the absurd, by the division, and by the number. So please don't bug. So I repeat, it's very easy what I'm saying. You count 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples. Do they have the same attribute? Are they more apples? Yeah. Now the question is, if I counted 3 apples, the question is, am I counting modalities or realities? This is the only question. If you say I'm counting realities, you are saying that many realities share the same attribute. Can this be? No. Why? Because you would be knowing the reality from the mode, which is impossible. So what are you counting then? Modality is not reality. This is all what he wants to do. It is whenever you have many, be it many humans, many actors, many cows, many material pieces, the many cannot be real. I hope it's ringing a bell. Manyness is not real. Oneness is real. Who is happy now? You know, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. What does it say? Who is the real? God. Is he one? Yeah. Now you understand why God, he has to be one. If he's many, he's not God. Which means when you say many things, you are sure that they're not real. Whenever you say many, it's not real. So let's say if you got it. Yeah. If you say many, whatever many it is, many chairs, tables, humans, civilizations, whatever it is, many cannot be a reality because the manyness would be sharing the same attribute, and many realities cannot share the same attribute. So as soon as you say many, it's not real. So God is one, as we see, or at least the real is one, or it's one in its kind. Let's say if you understood. You know the story of Jesus when he was wounded. And Tuma, what did Tuma say to Jesus? Let me touch the wound. He wanted to touch the wound to know what? If Jesus is real. But you see, Tuma is very smart, with all of due respect. You know, Jesus told him, okay, touch if you want. If Jesus is wounded, can he be God? Now, why not? If he has a cut, can he be God? Why not?
But if he's perfect, he's immortal.
In our language, not immortal because the Bible said it or because he's great. Okay, well, in our language, if you cut something, can it be a reality?
No,
No, why not?
you can only change it to well.
Because the reed, can you divide it, cut it, or limit it? No. So actually, what Tuma didn't understand is that if he's able to touch the moon, well, it would mean that Jesus is not the divine. He is not real. Okay? Go to speak. Why? Because you cannot cut the reed. The reed is indivisible. You cannot limit it. So it's clear that if you cut something, you don't prove that it's real, but you prove that it is unreal. Clear? Okay? So I hope you understood. So can you have many realities of the same attribute? No. Can you have many realities which each is of a different attribute? Yeah. This is clear the difference. You can have many realities where each one is of a kind, but you can't have many realities of the same kind because they wouldn't be belonging to that kind. As simple as that. So, can you have the Cartesian model, many realities of different kinds? Yeah. So now, at least Descartes, Spinoza was able to prove something. He's telling Descartes, this is possible because I have proven, you didn't do the work, I did the work for you, that if this is the divine substance, this is the material substance, and this is the thinking substance, given that they have three different attributes, they can exist as three different realities without having a conflict between them, because you can have many realities under one condition, which is that these realities has different attributes. There's absolutely no contradiction in that. This will not limit that, because to limit that, you should share what? The same attributes. So thought will not limit matter, and God will not limit both, so they can all be infinite without limiting each other. So I can have three realities. The world could be made of three filters, three planes, the divine, the material, the thinking, and all of them coexist without any of them limiting the other because they are of a different nature. But to understand that, we needed the proofs by the absurd, the division, and the number. So let's see if you understood. I'm not done. Let's say I have 1 minute. Are these three? So you understand the Christian Trinity at last. Are these three? If you have, this is reality of different nature. Are they three? Or are they one? Are they one, or three? They have different attributes. So can you count them if they have different attributes? No. To count, what do you need? Same attributes. So can you count the three perfections? No, you can't say there are three perfections. You have to say perfection, 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 and not three perfection, because to count them, they need to belong to the same attribute, which means they need to have a common nature. So this is why in Christianity, when you say that you have three different natures, the human, the divine, and the Holy Spirit, there are three in one, which means they don't limit each other, but they are absolutely infinite and divine, the three of them, without limiting each other, because each one is in a plane, and not belonging to the same thing and dividing it and becoming many. So there's absolutely no contradiction, and Christianity can work in this perspective. But we will see later that it's going not to be Christian. Okay, so I hope this is clear. I need